Hello, quilters. This is Geraldine Wilkins, the Living Water Quilter. How are you? How was your week? How was your Thanksgiving? If you're in the U.S., you are celebrating Thanksgiving. I had a quiet Thanksgiving. It's good to be here with you the day after Thanksgiving. This is Quilt Conversations Live. So glad that you're here. And if you're watching on the replay, you are welcome. If you're new here, welcome. Say hello in the chat. You will get a warm welcome. We are so glad that you're here. How was your week? What did you do this week? Did you eat a lot or a little bit of turkey or more dessert than turkey? How much did you eat? Hello, Liz. How are you? Hello, Sheila. Hello, Copper. Bonita, welcome. How are you? How are you? So glad you're here. Marsha, how are you? Hello, Marsha. Who else? LJ, hello and welcome. So glad you're here. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Awesome. Don't forget to press the like button. Thank you, Copper. Just another reminder, Copper, thank you so much for being the chat moderator on YouTube. We're so thankful that you are not just a moderator, you are the welcome party. You make everyone feel welcome, and I appreciate you. Thank you for doing that. And Copper also shares links to resources that I talk about. So thank you again, Copper, for being the moderator in the chat. Yes, she is fantastic. You had a good week. Wonderful. Didn't eat a lot. Okay. Good. That's good. Lentils. I love lentils. Yummy, yummy. All right. Oh, there's Terry. Hi, Terry. How are you? Sunny California. It's getting colder here in Virginia. It's getting colder. Yes, indeed. What else is happening? For me this week, did I do any sewing? No, I don't. You know what I did? I did some fabric washing. Remember, I told you I always pre-wash. I got a shipment of batik fabrics for this new quilt that I'm doing for a magazine next year. The fabric came in this week, and I've been washing and pressing and starching fabric, getting it ready to cut. Remember, machine quilting starts with good fabric preparation. So that's what I've been working on this week. It's almost all done. There's one more piece drying on my rack in my bathtub, my dry clothing rack. It's drying. So it should be ready to press after we go live. All right. Hello, Liz. How are you? I'm so glad that you're here. Yay. Who did I miss? I think I got everybody. I didn't think we would have all the ladies here tonight because it is a holiday weekend, and thank you for showing up to be here at Quilt Conversations Live, even though it's a holiday weekend. What I did do this past week, remember, I promised you that I was going to go live on Amazon for the month of November, sharing different quilting books. So I have been doing that, and I've had several episodes on different types of quilting books, crafting books, hand embroidery, all kinds of crafting and sewing books. And so I want to share with you quickly, so in case you're interested, because not only is this a Thanksgiving weekend, today is Black Friday, then there's Small Business Saturday, then there's Cyber Monday. There's all kinds of discounts happening everywhere. So I want to make sure I share some of the things that you might be interested in as you do your holiday shopping. So remember, I did let's see, let me get here. Oh, there goes Michelle. Hey, Michelle, how are you? So glad you're here. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving too. Awesome. Let's see here. Where is it? There we go. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, I talked about one of my favorite books for painting fabric, and it's called Sky Dyes. So I talked about that on the Amazon Live. You can go watch that replay. I go live on Amazon on Wednesdays, 7 p.m., and now on Sundays, although I may not do Sundays or twice a week in December, but we'll see. My schedule's getting really busy. So definitely Wednesday evenings, 7 p.m. But all of them, after they're finished, you can watch the replay. And all you have to do is go to tools.livingwaterquilter.live, scroll down to the bottom, and then there's the replays for all the live sessions. So, dyeing fabric. And I had so much fun with this book. These are the different fabrics that I hand dyed. Yes, I did that. And it was easy with this book. Beautiful dyeing. It was so much fun. So go take a look at that live session if you want to try your hand at hand dyeing. And I did all of these in just a couple hours. It wasn't even hard. And you can use things around the house. The book tells you. Go take a look. So that's fun. And all right, good to be here. What else? All right, so what's next? The other live, I talked about color. Color. Some of us have a challenge with picking color for our quilts, fabric colors and combining colors. And it's good to have a color wheel. And so I talked about this mini color wheel. It's called the mini color wheel. It's a take along. And it's cute. It's really cute. You get this neat little pocket with a wheel on the inside. And it has two sides to it with information about, once you pick a color, they have a guide so that you can either do complementary plan if you want your quilting plan to be complementary, analogous, monochromatic, split complementary, and triadic color plans, all in this one guide and on this wheel. So go check out that. That's also on Amazon Live. I go into detail about this color wheel, a pocket guide. So that's all in episode, I think that's episode 8. I've done 10 live sessions on Amazon. I can't believe it. So that's one. Okay. And then the next one was about, we talk a lot about machine quilting, but I don't think I've ever talked with you about how to transfer stencils to fabric. How do you transfer stencils to fabric? Do you use stencils? Do you use a marking pen? Do you use a chalk pencil? Do you use chalk powder? What do you use? Oh, you like that pocket guide. Yes, it's perfect for gifts for friends. You are exactly right, Copper. This would be fantastic for a friend. So go check that out if you want to learn more about that. You don't use stencils. Okay, well then maybe this one's not for you then. But if you do use stencils, I've shared in a couple of Quilt Conversations live how I combine techniques using a portion of a stencil with free motion and with ruler quilting. I don't know if you remember that one where I ruler quilted the circles and then I had some dragonflies. And then we did that series on art quilts and how to make your own stencil and the multiple ways you can transfer it. Well, anyway, in this live session, I talk about marking tools like this one. This is the Mark Be Gone. And it has the blue tip and the purple tip. Disappearing ink, and then the blue, it washes away. So I talk about this in detail. And then the photo that you're seeing is me talking about this wonderful chalk. And it's with a pounce pad. You know, you're going to use this pounce pad, right? But the chalk inside is what is unique. Yes, stocking stuffers. That's right, Marcia, stocking stuffers. This chalk goes down over the stencil. You swipe it, right? I'm sure many of you have used this before. You haven't used stencils, not yet, Michelle. Okay, I'm so glad you watched the videos. Awesome. Um, it Once you put the chalk powder through the stencil, it makes contact with the fabric. And once it does, it stays there until you heat press it with a little steam. You can rub it and it still won't disappear, which is fantastic because while we're machine quilting, we don't want that chalk to disappear and have to redo it. With this chalk that I talk about in the live session on Amazon, it doesn't wipe away. So it's going to last during the machine quilting process. It won't be gone while slowly being removed while you're stitching. Hello, Lorraine. So glad you're here. She loves the chalk pounds. All right. Awesome. Yeah, it's a special kind. There's different types of chalk. They're not all the same. So the one that I talk about in that live session specifically is one that has to be removed with a hot iron and a little steam, and it doesn't wipe away. There are some that you have to wash out. You don't use heat, so make sure. Hello, Sherry. So glad you're here. So that's another episode. And I show this stencil. This is one of my favorite stencils. I love this stencil. I love this stencil. I've used this stencil on craft text for some of my baskets. So I use stencils not just for quilting, I use them for other crafts as well. So that's that. And then the live I did on Wednesday was all about star quilts and these new books about how to make a star quilt. Have you made a star quilt? Have you made a star quilt? A Lone Star or what's the other star? There's the New York Beauty is kind of a mixture. But have you made a star quilt? Hey, Sabrina, are you here? Hello. So glad you're here. Hi. Hello. So this is the Diamond Star book. So I talk about this one and a couple other ones. That one is this one has a lot of easy beginner skill building star quilts in it. A sampler where you start to learn the technique, strip piecing and paper piecing, so a little bit of both. So take a look at that. And then I do a little section on this book on New York Beauties. Have you made a New York Beauty block quilt or a star quilt? Any of you ladies? No star quilt for you yet, Sherry. Okay. What about a New York Beauty? A New York Beauty. That's kind of an interesting one. Let me go to the overhead camera. Yeah, so this is the New York Beauty. I made these a while ago when I was doing a quilt along, and I didn't make a full quilt. I just wanted to learn the technique, and so I made several blocks, and then I made them into placemats, and I used it for free motion quilting practice. So sometimes I want to learn a technique but not make a full quilt or a big project. So this is the other one. This is the Diamond Star quilt. Okay, let's see. You like the New York Beauties. They are fun. Ohio Star. That's the other one, Michelle, I was trying to think of. Yes. You just wanted to see if you could do it. Awesome. Yay. Yeah, the New York Beauties are fun. They're very modern looking, aren't they? Wow, I really like it. And then this one includes the patterns in the back. I like it when they have a separate pullout. So you'll get a full review on both of these books on that Amazon Live. And this one has some real beauties in it too. Some really nice. Look at this cactus. Desert rose, cactus flower. Isn't that pretty? So anyway, go take a look. And then I like this one too. There's so many good ones in this book. Look at that one, a pinwheel. So, okay. Are you ready to make a star quilt or a New York Beauty? Maybe even get one of these mini color wheels. I think Sherry, I don't know if you were here when I was talking about this one. This is a fantastic gift for yourself or for a friend. I talk about this one. So, fantastic wheel. It's called a take along. All right, so that's Amazon Live. That was what I did the last 3 Amazon Lives. Go check that out. And all you have to do is go to tools.livingwaterquilter.live to get to that. And Copper can put that link in the chat if she hasn't already. So you can do it again. Let's see. Yes, Sherry, you want one of those color wheels? It's really neat. It has charts for each of the colors, and then it shows you different color plans. So actually 5. Analogous, monochromatic, complementary. 5 different ones. Go check it out. Yep, it's really good. Oh, I grew up in New York, Marcia. Yeah, your brother lived there. Neat. Yes, Sherry, that pinwheel one was nice. I like that one too. A lot of these books, because it's the holiday weekend and it's Black Friday today, a lot of them are on sale. So take advantage of those discounts, ladies, if you want to get. So remember, I think I did 5 or 4 different live sessions on Amazon that are now available on the replay with modern quilt books, hand embroidery projects, crafting books, all kinds of sewing and quilting books if you want to add something to your library, you're looking for a new pattern. And then in each one, I give a little demo. Like the one demo was about stencils and how to use marking tools as opposed to chalk powder. All right, so what else am I going to talk about tonight? Oh, I'm trying something new. Okay, are you ready? Are you listening? I thought I know we've talked about that one day we might have a Quilt Conversations live retreat. What do you think about meeting after Quilt Conversations live on Friday? We meet on Zoom. If you join the club, the membership, Quilt Conversations Live, the Zoom meeting will be free. And we would meet at 8:30 p.m. for 40 minutes on Zoom. It would be a time for meet and greet and a time for show and share, where you can show and share some of your quilting and sewing projects that have been inspired by Quilt Conversations Live. What do you think about that? So you can either join and become a member of Quilt Conversations Live, and then the meetings are free, and there are other bonuses that you get as a member. Or you can just pay as you go. You can just pay $5 to enter the Zoom room and just enjoy the show and share after party. That's what I'm calling it, show and share after party. 8:30 is when the Zoom room will open, and we get a chance to show and share for 40 minutes after every Quilt Conversation Live on Fridays. So I'm going to show you how you can do that. Let me go to here. Let's see. There we go. So if you go to join.livingwaterquilter.live, you end up on this page. And then you see at the top it says show and share. You click that, and then once you go through the process, you'll get an email with the Zoom link, the password, and the meeting number to join at 8:30. So I set that up for today. If anyone wants to come in, you can join and become a member of Quilt Conversations Live. It's only $15 a month, which is very little compared to the number of times we meet. We meet 4 to 5 times a month here on Quilt Conversations Live. You always get a discount as a member. As a member, you always get a discount on my sweatshirts, t-shirts, my mugs. You get a discount on those, and then you get to go to the show and share after party free. It's included when you are a member, included. So I think it'd be a nice time. I don't want to wait for a retreat. Yeah, I don't want to wait for a retreat. I want to be able to see your lovely faces and see the things that you're quilting and sewing in a Zoom meeting. Let's start there. All right, all you have to do is go to join.livingwaterquilter.live to get access to the Zoom meeting for tonight. This is brand new. I'm just starting it. We'll see what it's like. I think it'll be fun. So you just click on this right here, and then you'll get the information. If you become a member, you still have to click that and then put in 0. Put in 0 for the payment process because it's free. And then you'll get the email with the link. Okay? All right. What do you ladies think? All right. Let's hear it for a special deal. Awesome. Yay. Awesome. You think it would be good to take a class on color? I think that's a good idea too. Yep. Awesome. All right, ladies, I think that's all the news for today. We talked about the Amazon Lives. We talked about the show and share after party, 8:30 after every Quilt Conversations Live, and becoming a member of Quilt Conversations Live officially. Now we're going to talk about tree skirts. Do you make your own tree skirt, or do you buy one? Have you ever made one? Do you make a tree skirt? Have you ever made one? Or do you buy them now? What do you do? What do you do? Do you make them? Let me get my stuff over here. I love sharing the different resources that we have for helping us be creative in quilting. And I'm going to share some more of those tools when I talk about this easy tree skirt, fast and quick. You'd love to make one, but you haven't so far. Yours is ancient. You're not sure where it came from. Okay, awesome. Wow. Well, guess what? This tree skirt is not only easy, but it's perfect for practicing machine quilting. Perfect for that big print fabric that you don't want to cut up into small pieces. It can be as complicated as you want in terms of adding a border or not adding a border. You can, because you notice the photo that I shared, I'll share that right now. I put a border on it. Didn't have to have one, but I wanted just a little extra. So that's an extra step, but you don't have to add a border. Okay. Sherry would like to make one. You found an old pattern and would like to try it, but you've always brought yours. Yeah. I think sometimes there's some of those things that we think about at the last minute, and then it's like, oh, I don't have time to make one. And it's usually, well, I'll make one next year. And you think, oh, I have all year to make one. And then what happens? Time goes by. And then you're like, oh, I'll just buy one. So this one I made as a gift. This was a gift for a friend in California. And that's a good one. It's not my tree skirt. I made it for someone, and I can't remember the size of it, but I think I got a yard and a half of fabric. So it was a square. 40 by 40 is what I think it was, because I wanted a square. I wanted a square, and my intention was to initially to make it round. But guess what? I ran out of time. I said, oh, I have plenty of time to make her a tree skirt. And I said, well, I need to find another way to make this a little bit more simpler in terms of the process. So I believe it is enough for it to be square, 40 by 40. That's the important part of this. You really don't need a pattern for this. You just need to think about the square, the size, whether it's 40 by 40, 30 by 30, 20 by 20. You want it to be a square. At least that's, I guess it doesn't have to be, but this is how I did it. And so as I thought about that, I said, well, I'm just going to, instead of making it round, I'm just going to cut off the corners. Yes, time constraints can force creativity. Yes, it's so true. And I also wanted to be able to close the tree skirt and make it look complete. Easy to put on and under the tree, and easy to close and make it look almost seamless. So I'm going to go to the overhead camera. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go to overhead camera, and for demonstration purposes, pretend this is 40 by 40, but it's really a 5-inch square. 5-inch square. 5 inches in all dimensions. So I take that square, and then I cut off the corners. So I fold it in half. And then I mark on the square, say 1 inch here, 1 inch there. 1 inch, 1 inch, and then do the same thing here. 1 inch, 1 inch, right? Once I do that, now you can take any size that you want. It doesn't have to, it's 1 inch because it's a 5-inch square, but depending upon how much of an angle you want on the corners, how much you want to chop off, that's up to you. It's an easy pattern, so you to cut off as much as you want or as little as you want. It's really up to you. There's no hard and fast rule about this. So once you mark that, that's when you're going to cut off the corners. And since it's folded, the corners are now going to be even. So whether I marked 1 inch from here or 5 inches, it's always going to be the same. 5 inches on this side, 5 inches on that side. And then you're going to do that on both sets of corners. Then you just cut off the corner. And then you do the same thing here. You're putting the ruler where you marked, right? So from this 1 inch mark to that 1 inch mark, then I'm cutting off the corner. Okay. And then I'll do the same thing on this side. Line up the ruler so that it's touching each of those 1 inch marks, and then I'm just cutting off the corner. And when I do that and I open it up, I get this. Right? those 1-inch, they're cut off. Simple, right? It's not complicated. This was folded in half. Maybe I did it this way. Here we go. And I cut off the corners. Okay. Now we need a center, but you don't do the center cut in the beginning. You quilt it. You make a quilt sandwich, or you add your borders. If you want to put borders on there, you add borders. It's up to you. Then you make your quilt sandwich and you quilt it anywhere you want. You want to use a walking foot. You want to use this as time to practice your free motion quilting. You want to try some ruler quilting. Perfect time to practice. And of course, I would use blending thread. Make it easy on yourself. If you want to use contrasting fabric in the back to make it two-sided, you could do that, so that you can have a tree skirt that has two beautiful sides. One where you have a contrast and you can see all the stitching if you're ready for that, or you can just use the same fabric on both sides. It's up to you. You can use any batting you want. I mean, I think I just used regular cotton batting. Nothing complicated, just easy. If you wanted to, because remember, you're going to put presents and stuff on top of it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you'll see it in the beginning, but as you start to put gifts and things on top of it, you're not going to see the tree skirt, right? And you want it to be washable and easy to take care of. So after you have it all quilted, now you're going to cut, right? You're going to cut your circle and then the straight line. But you want to mark half of the circle. And there's a number of ways to do that. You can just get a plate out of the kitchen, right? Check the diameter, say, okay, I need a hole such and such size. You say, I need one that's 10 inches, 5 inches, whatever it is. You just want to make sure you do only half of that, because then you're going to cut this to get a perfect circle, right? For this example, I just made sure I folded it in half and folded it in half again to get the center. So that's the center. So you fold it in half and fold it in half again. You might have to press it if it's been quilted, because now there's all 3 layers and you get that center. And you mark the center. If you need to use a marking tool like this one, this is the Around the Block tool by Tailor. I don't know if you've heard about it. It is something for marking all kinds of things. Around the Block marking tool. You can use it for marking for free motion quilting. You can use it to mark all kinds of things that you want to make. So in this case, I just put, there's a little dot here, a little dot in the corner. And I want to do a 1 inch on either side, which will give me 2 inches, right? So that hole is placed there, and then I mark it here to do half. And then I do the same thing again on this side. Again, you can just use a plate. It's really whatever you have in your sewing room. So there's my 2-inch circle, right? 2 inches, 1 and 1, which then will be, once I cut it open, it's going to be 4 inches, right? Yep, good idea for Christmas. Around the Block. Again, as always, I listed all these tools that I've mentioned in the YouTube description box below the video. So anything, if you missed the link, it's all there. Okay. Now, you don't want to cut it yet. You also want to take your ruler and you want to mark a straight line right down the side from the edge of the circle to the end of the top, the sandwich. Then you want to turn it over. Well, I guess you don't have to do it on both sides, but you could. I mean, I think I would do that. I've changed my mind on that. You do. You have to mark it on both sides. So here's the center, and I want to mark it on both sides. You must mark it on both sides. Okay. And the reason for that is because this is quilted. This is quilted, right? Now I have that perfect circle, right? There's that circle. I don't know if you can see that. And you're going to mark a line right here. Your perfect circle. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Maybe that was a poor choice of fabric. So there's your circle, and you marked a line. Why do you think I don't cut it yet, that I mark it? Why do you think it's not a good idea to cut at this point? This is the quilt sandwich. It's been quilted. I've marked the circle that I want, and I've marked this line to the edge of the tree skirt. Why do you think it's not a good idea to cut? What do you think is the next step? What do you ladies think? What is the next step? What is the next step? We have our circle, the diameter that we want, and we've marked from the edge of the circle down to the edge of the quilt sandwich. Why don't we want to cut it yet? Not sure. Okay. It's been quilted with your favorite free motion quilting or ruler quilting. You've either practiced. Based around the circle and the stitch. Shrinkage. These are good ideas. You use line on the seam. Okay. Shrinkage. Yes, it is going to shrink. That's true, Benita. Sherry is correct. Based around the circle and the slit. Exactly. You want to base stitch around the circle, base stitch. And depending upon the free motion quilting pattern that you used, I would do a tight basting stitch because I want to secure those stitches. I do not want the free motion quilting to come apart and start to unravel. So you're going to stitch all the way around the circle, and you're going to stitch on both sides of this line. You need to stitch on both sides before you cut, and you're going to cut in between the stitches. Yay, Sherry. Yay, exactly. Yay. Yes. And once you're comfortable that those stitches are going to secure your machine quilting or ruler quilting, whatever quilting you did, it's not going to unravel. It's okay to now cut this and cut your circle. Awesome. Yes. All right. So it's now ready for binding. Now, because you have a circle, right? How do you think you would bind? How do you think you would bind from the inside down that slit that's going to be open and around the perimeter? Now, since it's not round, we've cut off the corners, right? We've cut off the corners so you don't, it won't be too much of a problem. Bias cut. Yes, bias binding. You can make your own, or in a pinch, you can use this bias binding quilt binding double fold, and that's what I used. I used this double fold bias binding, double fold bias tape quilt binding. Comes in an assortment of colors, and it makes it easy to do. All right, let me show you some photos. So here is the first one. Now, the other thing that I wanted, before I reveal it, let me see if this one might be okay. I'll come up close. There's that binding. It almost looks like it's a, what do you call those? Shawls? Is it a shawl that you put over your shoulder because it has the cutout and it's closed, right? It almost looks like a shawl, but it's the same tree skirt. I wanted to make sure that when the tree skirt closed, that binding would butt. There'd be no gap, no gap. How do you think you would close that gap and keep it closed once it's under the tree? What would you do? What would you use? What would you use? Any ideas? What would you use? Ties, that's an option. Yes, ties, Velcro. Now think about what you're going to use. You want to use this tree skirt over and over. You're going to wash it. How is it going to work with the ties? What kind of ties would work well with that? No problem with washing. Velcro, you'd have to stitch that on, right? Will it shrink in the wash? How will that work? Something to think about. Think about the different clothing that you wear that has a tie on it or Velcro and how it washed. How did it wash? Hook and loop on the bottom. I like the hook and loop. That's a neat idea. Small little hook and loop. Or you can get big ones. But then in the wash, would those get bent? Maybe. Don't know. Those are all good options. And I think it comes down to preference and then also which of those would wear well over time. I used, again, what I had on hand, and I think it was a decent solution. I'm going to show you the back. Okay, I've been doing some build-up on this. You're probably curious. What did she use? What did she use? What did she use? Are you ready? Should I reveal it? Should I show it to you? Poncho. Yes, that's it, Marcia. Poncho. When I finished making it, I thought, wow, I usually don't make clothing, but I could take this same technique and do some fancy quilting on it. And all I'd have to do is maybe sew a seam, right? And to put my arms through. And I have a poncho. And then put a tie around the middle to close it off. I don't think it'd be that hard to do. All right, I think it's time. I think it's time to show how I did the back. So none of you have guessed what I've used. None of you have guessed. You ready? All right, I think the suspense should be over. Here we go. I use snaps. I use snaps in the back. And when you look at the first photo, you can't even tell that there are snaps back there. Now, the number of snaps to use, I don't know. I think I just used what I had. Maybe I could have used more, the spacing there, but I tested it out a little bit in terms of its shifting. Snaps. So I was able to determine, and I used the rest of the bias tape, to create the snaps, the strap for the snaps. Like that idea? Okay, awesome. Looks like a Christmas vest. Yeah, all of a sudden now I'm a clothing designer and I do not sew clothing. Uh, you like that idea too. But I think the ties will work, the hook and eye would work. It just depends on maybe even a zipper. But I wanted to use what I had on hand. I didn't have a lot of time. I didn't have to make anything. The bias tape was already made for me, and I used it with the snaps that I had on hand. And I thought that it would wash okay. Now, if you notice, look at my free motion quilting. What kind of quilting did I do? A very simple meander, right? One of the best things that we can do in our journey with free motion quilting is to continually stitch a meander, because that helps us with our stitch length. It helps us create a fluid, continual movement. We get this groove. We get this, I like to call cruising speed, where we can just zip through at a very even, comfortable pace. And that's where our stitch length is the best. And you want to develop that. Yeah, Velcro. I thought about that. I've used Velcro before, but I felt like it wouldn't wash right and the Velcro would come off. But who knows? It probably would have been okay. I don't think I just didn't have Velcro on hand, maybe. Hello, Elaine. Welcome. So glad you're here. So glad you're here. So, is that a fast and easy tree skirt? Yes or no? What do you ladies think? Is that a fast one? I think it's fast. Now, there's something else to consider. What if you used a quilt panel instead of a solid color? Now the person who I made this for, she picked out the fabric. She wanted this fabric, and that's the border fabric. She also chose that. But what if that was a quilt panel? What do you think? If that was a quilt panel. Yep, super fast project to work on free motion quilting and ruler quilting. Yeah. You can add a border. The border can be as big as you want or as small as you want, or you don't have to add a border. It's really up to you. I think this is a great opportunity to learn some techniques with machine quilting. And if you don't want to use the bias tape that you buy, you can make your own. And if you've never made bias tape, it's an opportunity to practice. But the whole idea is to make a fast tree skirt when you don't have time. Yep, there are a lot of Christmas panels out there that might make a good addition to this. Yes. Awesome. It's basically, you can start simple and then add on other features and other borders. You can do a double border. You can do all kinds of things to make it more interesting or a little bit more complicated. meaning that there are more steps to do, which then takes it longer. So you can make it as simple or as easy as you want, basically. I hope that was inspirational for you ladies. Another project that you can use to practice your machine quilting. Yeah, another easy project to sew and practice. That's a big canvas to practice free motion quilting. Big practice area. Another idea that might be fun, I just thought about this just as I was speaking. What if on this last photo where I used the back was this solid burgundy fabric, what if in the middle of the quilting I quilted some names, so that when you looked on this side, or some words, the words I guess would be backwards once you turn it over, but that's something else that you can practice. You can practice using a stencil, you can practice ruler quilting, you can practice doing your name in stitches or several names. There's all kinds of things that you can practice with this. I just love that. And I'm glad to say that the person who I made it for also liked it. Awesome. Awesome. I'm so glad you ladies enjoyed that. Just a reminder, if you want, I would love to meet some of you in a Zoom meeting. We're going to have Quilt Conversations live for those who are joining us late, 8:30. Starting today, I'm going to start hosting a Zoom show and share after Quilt Conversations live. It's 8:30. You can get the link by becoming a member, a Quilt Conversations live member, and then the meetings are free, or you can just join whenever you want, not become a member, and then just pay $5 to join a meeting. You can come and share some of the projects that you're working on, or just to come in and say hello and have some time to get to know each other. I'm going to show you again where to go. You're basically just going to go to join.livingwaterquilter.live. That's going to take you to this page. Let me close that page. It's going to take you to this page, Quilt Conversations Live. You can become a member, or which you can just join whenever you want, and you just click on show and share. And when you do, you click get this, and then you can join the meeting at 8:30. 8:30. Show and share. A time to meet and greet, show and share things that you're working on. And again, it's free if you become a monthly member. And there's other bonuses and things that you get when you become a member. Of course, you enjoy the weekly lives here on Friday, but you also get discounts and other perks as a member of Quilt Conversations Live. All right, ladies. Awesome. What are your plans for the weekend? What are your plans for the weekend? Yeah, I think it does sound like fun. We've talked a lot about having a retreat, but that might be a while. Might take a while to do that. So I thought, why not? Okay, Sherry, maybe next time. Maybe next time. Thank you. Um, let's see. Yeah, the retreat won't happen for some time. I hope it will happen, but I don't think it will happen for some time. And I didn't want to wait to spend time with you ladies. Oh, you're still at your parents' house. Say hello to your parents. Hello, Copper's parents. All right. Okay, Sherry has a plan. She has a quilt to finish over the weekend. Good. Awesome. What else is going on? Let's see. What are my plans for this weekend? I always have computer work. I might start cutting into that fabric, but I'm not sure. I might wait until Monday to start cutting into that fabric. I have some other odds and ends I have to go through. I have some emails to respond to, those kinds of things. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to sew. We'll see. Hey, hello. So glad you're here. She is making, let's see, I'll be making a reading pillow. Oh, that's neat. I love reading pillows. For his birthday gift, finishing up some embroidery, lots of good projects. Okay, Copper, that's fine. This is totally new. I didn't know if anyone would be able to join. I know it's a holiday weekend, but I thought it was a good time to just introduce everyone to the idea. Terry is working on an art quilt, doing some free motion quilting the next couple of days. Ooh, that sounds like fun. All right. All right. What is a me sewing month? That sounds like I'm sewing just for me, not for someone else. Is that right, Tasha? Elaine is making Christmas stockings for a charity fundraiser. Always good to sew for others. Awesome. Cassie, you are playing on your long arm. Awesome. Having more fun. Are you enjoying it? Are you having a good time with it? I hope so. I hope so. I hope you're having a good time. That's a nice practice, Tasha. Any sewing that you do in December is just for you. Set aside time for me sewing. I need to put that in my calendar. Yeah. And you're learning a lot, Cassie. I'm so glad. What's the first thing or the best thing that you've learned so far on your new long arm? Ooh, Bonita's going to make a small skirt for a tabletop tree. Awesome. Yep, Sherry likes that idea too. I think you're starting a trend. Long arms are, wow, such a blessing to have. I'm so glad I invested in mine. My Juki over here, my sit down. I am so glad. At first I thought, oh, there's no way I could ever get one. But I decided to just do it. I just saved and got one. So that's your biggest thing. Yes, paying attention to tension and adjusting when necessary. Cassie, are you using a TOA gauge to adjust your bobbin tension? Okay, Elaine, you're in bed. All right, I understand that. I don't want you to get out of bed. Yes. Are you in Ireland? Are you joining us from Ireland? I'm trying to remember if that's where you are. Let's see. You know who's missing tonight is Wilda. I hope she's okay. Who else is not here tonight that we're missing? I just hope everyone is doing fine, and if they're not here, that they're enjoying their time with their family during this holiday weekend. Okay, Cassie, may I make this recommendation? Get a TOA gauge. It's worth the money. It's important for long arm machines to test the tension in the bobbin. It's not like the way we do tension on our home machine. And I would get that TOA gauge, TOWA gauge. I think I have it listed in my Amazon shop if you don't know where to find it. And you just go to tools.livingwaterquilter.live and look for free motion quilting. I think it's in there. I can double check, but I believe that that's where I put it. I use it all the time, all the time. It's, I find, the only way that I can have consistent bobbins. So I load up my bobbins and then I put them in that TOA gauge and I test that tension. Oh, Sherry, you don't use one? Oh, yes, that's right. You have a long arm too. You need to get one. It's a lifesaver. It is, it is, it is. Let's see. No, okay. I'm checking now to make sure I have it in there. If it's not, I'm going to put it in there before the night's over. Zoom party. Yeah, after party, Tasha. First one tonight, if you're able to join, 8:30. A Zoom after party. Need to learn how to use it. Okay. Yes, ladies, you do. All right, Michelle is catching up on some projects. It's always good to get those works in progress finished. Ah, you've been using pre-wound bobbins. Okay. You know, if that's working for you and you don't have to adjust bobbin tension, then you're good to go. Um, yeah. Yes. If you all wear PJs, she won't feel out of place. I like that. Yes. Pajama party. Okay. That sounds like it's going to be a party theme. As we start to get together for these Zoom after parties, we can do themes. I'm all for that, you know. Let's do it. I think we should do it. Well, ladies, guess what? It's been an hour. We've had an hour of time together. And if you have any questions about anything, just let me know. Leave a comment below. Don't forget to look at some of those cool and fun books on the Amazon Lives, that color wheel I talked about, the fabric painting, the all the different books and stuff. If you're looking for bargains, a lot of that is on sale now this weekend. So go check out those lives, go check out my curated lists. What else? I think that's it. Oh, don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this evening. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Get notified when I go live, when you hit that notification bell. If you haven't hit the notification bell, do that too. And if you're watching on the replay, welcome. So glad you're here and that you've lasted this full hour. You're still here. Join us next Friday, every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Quilt Conversations Live. We have a fun time. Yes, love the date night. Time flies. I love it too. Okay. All right, Sherry. I'm so glad. You still need to learn to use it. All right. Fantastic. Maybe for those of you that are in Stitching Lane Society, the Living Water Quilter membership, who have long arms and they want a little help with that toe gauge, that is what being a member is all about. I'm here to help you with stuff like that. So I can help maybe at the next mastermind. All right, think about that. Also, for those of you who are either in the Stitching Lane Society and you're here live or you're watching on the replay, I'm going to send out an email that for our next mastermind, which is 2 hours on Zoom, that maybe we can have a time of open sewing or open quilting, that we will break away from our traditional. This is something I've been thinking about. Let me know your thoughts. Maybe we will do an open quilting time where we're not sitting in front of the camera, but we can have a time to sew, to cut, to machine quilt, ask questions. Let me know what your thoughts are. Okay, well, gotta go, ladies. Have a wonderful weekend. Oh, you like that idea? Yay! All right, Sherry. Yay! Awesome. All right, have a safe and wonderful weekend. Enjoy your time with your family. Copper, say hello again to your parents. So glad that you're able to join us, even when you're out visiting. Awesome. All right. Just looking at the comments to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Oh, there goes Nora. Hello. I'm so glad you're here. How are you? Awesome. All right. You're welcome, Sherry. You're welcome. All right. You're welcome, Benita. Okay. Good night. Good night, everyone. So glad to be here with you. Have a lovely weekend, and hopefully I'll see you sometime live on Amazon Live or here next week. I'll see you next time.